nikusikie. Hi, Abbas. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Not bad. Well, we on now. We on.
Yep. That's what's up. That's what's up.
That's what's up. My man, it's been a while. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Been a minute. I was hunting.
How are you quarantining though, by the way?
Well, all good. Just like, doing music and married music and life and wife.
As it should be, as it should be. So,
Yep.
all right. First of all, thank you very much for taking this time. I know you're a busy man.
Not so busy during this lockdown situation, Right now we are on self-quarantine, so.
Yeah, and I'll apologize for my timing. Like, my timing has always been poor. You know that, don't you?
Understood.
Right. So, for anybody out there and everybody all around the world, Ambrose MANDUGU Digital, welcome.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here. Mighty glad to be here, man.
Yeah, bless. Right. Sana. We'll start from top though, right?
Okay.
Kama VP, just a brief history about yourself. I'll tell you the little I know about you.
Well, in brief, I'm a music producer, a musician at first, I would say. I've been in the game of music, or what you call the business of music, for just a little bit over 2 decades.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, how about your start? I'll tell you what I know about you. You come from a musical family. Your dad
That's right.
Your dad is a musician still, right?
Absolutely.
Right? So that's where basically you started, right? And then
yes,
through school and all that. And then what I know about you is how you started to hone your DJ skills. It was around that time when Hardstone was coming up with his first album. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's right. We're talking 97, 96.
Exactly. Now, take us back, if you can, to that time, right? To that time. What, obviously, I just gotta say this and get it out of the way. Ted Josiah is kind of like, say.
Yeah, right? That's right. That's the mentor right there, Ted Josiah. Big up Ted, man.
Shouts out to Ted Josiah.
Shout out to Ted Josiah. He gave me the first gig, like in the studio.
Right.
Yeah, he let me in, and he allowed me to play with his tools, with his toys.
Right.
Yep. And that time seeing Ted was like seeing God. So I was in heaven when I stepped into the studio, and he, of course, showed me a little rope here and there, then allowed me to get into the process of how he does his music. And I got absorbed into it. And eventually, once you master the trend, you start finding your own space within the existing framework, which is what happened as a natural progression. So I'm like, big up to him for that. I really appreciate him for that.
Yeah.
Without that, probably I would have been in maybe singing choir or something.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Listen, was this before or after the first Hardstone album coming out? Was it before or after?
Like this was before, because I'm talking at the time Ted was working on Hardstone. He was also working on Shades of Black, which was a group that he was having that managing and producing at the same time. This was before Kalamashaka. This was before Kenyan the First Chapter. We are talking Shades of Black. He had his own group at that time. And we happened to be having our own group while still in at Schoolhouse, where we would go and attend these Star Search competitions that were held at CONVO restaurant. And so Ted's group was one of the contestants at that Star Search, and we happened to be a group of 4 guys. Me, my brother, and actually we were 5. We were 5 guys. We called ourselves Jinx.
Jinx.
What a name! Yeah, well, yeah, we used to sing like, you know, those Boys to Men, R&B, because we were taking the template of Five Alive, which was popular with that genre at that time. And also shout out to Eric Wanaina. He really encouraged us at one time. Okay. Told us, keep going, you can do it. And, you know, because we were like, we don't sound like Crispy like that, you know. But he gave us a lot of confidence and motivation to keep going. Well, we did well in those Star Search, and while rubbing shoulders with those artists, we got to realize that there's a studio called Sync Sound. That was in Mombasa Road, and we promised ourselves that we are gonna get a record deal there one day.
That was Ted's studio, Sync Sounds, right? That was his first studio.
Yes, because where I was working, he was working there at Sync Sounds.
Okay.
I don't think he had an ownership stake in that studio, but he was the person we were gravitating to. He was the craftsman, you know, the sounds craftsman of it.
Okay, right. Then came Gidi Gidi Maji Maji, the album Ismarwa. I know you worked on that. There was a few. That was
now ages. Right. That was ages after the whole process of coming from Sync Sound, because Ted had to leave Sync Sound at one time.
Okay.
Because he wanted to form with his friends, David Murithi and Mike Rabau, who had come from the UK. They decided to form a studio together, and Ted was like, he felt that was the right fit for him at that time in his career.
Okay.
And he basically, I remember that drive very well. We were driving on Mombasa Road to town. As we were passing Nyayo's car, his car, he told me that, man, I'm starting something else. You want to join? I was like, why not? Because I was like, come on, man, I want to be part of this as well. But this is Ted we are talking about. The man who's on the charts at that time. All the radios are in, all the media is in a frenzy about him. And I wanted in as well, because I didn't go to Sync Sound for anything else but to make music with Ted.
Right.
Exactly. So when he said he's going to set up this studio with Mike Rabah and David, I followed suit and became an associate producer as a result, which to me was a promotion, because in Sync Sound, I was more of like a roadie coming and coming out and stuff like that. But when you told you're an associate producer, that's like an empowerment, because he allows you to be part of the production process.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So with that, so your first kind of production that came out was in Ismarwa. I understand you worked on a few tracks on Ismarwa under Ted. Ismarwa is
in Ismarwa, as an associate producer, I was mostly participating in the process of production,
right,
and the creative direction of it in terms of sound aesthetics. And what Ted would do, being a visionary, he didn't want to do everything himself, as what he had done in the first project and the second project, which was Kenyan the first chapter, and into the Kenyan the second chapter, which was a compilation. He asked me to start now. You know, he tested me with a group of ladies called In Two.
Okay.
That is Temi and Natasha Njehu right now. That time it was Natasha Gatabaki. And this was solid musicians, you know, people who knew their stuff. And I was also in that tangent of R&B, so we did this song called Tamani.
All right.
And when they went for an interview there was a program that Flavian Busi used to hold. Yes, that was my first TV.
Okay.
That was my
Okay,
first
before
TV
TV.
interview.
Okay, I remember
So,
that.
so I was first interviewed on TV as a result of producing a song called Tamani by Intu, which is in Kenya, the second chapter, a
All right.
compilation that was done under Ted Josiah in audio form.
Okay, so Tamani was like your first, like where you honed your skills and now you're on it. Tamani was that.
Yeah, that was the time now I was going out showing my face to the media houses that I did this track, you know.
Okay, right.
Exactly. But
And
still,
then,
remember, I was rubbing shoulders with rappers and MCs, and I was also gravitating to that world as well. So that's another story.
For another day. Listen, let's take a break out. This is my favorite, like my go-to tune, right? This one here, for obvious reasons, I didn't, well, personal reasons. When I had my Mwana Wamberi, then this was it, you know what I mean? So this is Mwana Wamberi. That's my tune, that's my tune.
Naamka asubuhi naenda shamba kuvuna, na check sehemu za jiko naona kweli limenuna. Naanza kufikiri kichwa na kuna mkono mkoni, pesa hakuna, mdogo kafunzwa shule kisa karo hakuna. Naamua kuingia mjini na kujituma, naona Nairo kudumu wacha nende pwani, pengine nitabahatika ni nchi za kigeni. Tulifunzwa wenye pesa ni wazungu shuleni. Mimi najamu lamba na mama nasukuma kama kukwama salamu. Nilikwama mwisho nijiunge na Osama, tufanye Osama katika ntabani ama alafu ingo metarudi tenzo kama zawadi kimu na ingo hoya omu na mwa
Tunafanya Afrobeat,
kwenye kinena kuna msako jiji, no with the game but na vako nyingi. Oh, mjaro mob designs mob styles mob spice kibao kwenye club mekao flat copy jango sisi hando biz no kaikando na hao mafisi masako nini na ingoma kidunga shato zao mamini lakini sasa hivi
That's
yes,
nice.
sir.
That's a tune, my man. That's a tune. Right.
That
so
Kalamashaka right there with Susan Brain.
Yeah, come on.
Yep.
Come on there. Kaa kwenye kinena kuna msako jiji. Right, listen.
Exactly.
You was talking about your first tune. That was whatever. Tamani or something, right?
That's right.
So,
that's right. That was not my first tune. That was the first tune that put me on TV.
On TV, like put you in the public eye. Now people started looking at, okay, yeah, there's Ambrose can do that for you, right? So talk to me about the progression from there to now you coming out and Mandugu Digital, which is a combination of you and another genius called Sharks. That's a story for another day. Like Sharks, that's a story for another day. Yeah. So from Tamani, how did it go?
Well, there was a second Star Search that was done about 2000, the year 2000 by Safaricom. That Star Search was probably a stepping stone towards great things that came afterwards, because my brother Shaki, who is the other half of Mandugu, which means brothers. Initially, we were digital brothers, and then when we were in the
Shaki, by the way.
Yes, Shaki, up to him. He's in Nairobi. I'm in Dar es Salaam.
All right.
So Shaki was with a guy called Kalawe, and they formed a group called Jawabu. And they decided
Shout out to Kalawe.
Yeah, they decided to participate in the Star Search. And well, you know, the details, you know, with all that went around it, they became winners of that Star Search and they won the grand prize. And so they were able with that grand prize to start working on their album at Samawati Studios and Soul Child Studios, Steve Ominde Studios.
Okay.
And then Richard Kasika. There was a guy called Richard Kasika as well. He had a studio in near State House Road. So those were the three studios that we were dangling in until we got to get a product out for Jawabu, but it was being distributed under Serenade Music, that is Samawati Studio.
All right.
So as a result of that distribution, we had to now go to Samawati, and we started now engaging in our production at Samawati Studio B, and we settled there. We decided that we don't want to leave. We're just going to settle at Studio B because it had all the tools that we needed.
Okay. What time was this?
So that's where Jawabu. That's where now you get songs like Mlango, Tinifungie Mlango, Pewa Hewa, South Flavor, Speakers in a Bumbo Kak.
Yeah.
You know, so you get a little bit of singing, a little bit of rapping, and of course you get Jawabu Dance, which was a Latino influence kind of track, a fusion. I think most guys. Yeah. So. After that, Jawabu started getting gig slots and they became now an independent act. And while they were doing it, I was transitioning into this producer who wants to work with live instruments. And so I joined this Marwa band, which was a band that was put up together by Ted.
Okay.
In order to present Gidi Gidi Majimaji,
for the album,
who had done Ismarwa, their album, as a live music that does not just involve playing keyboards only. This time they were bringing in guitars, they were bringing in percussion. We worked with percussion instrumentalists from the National Theatre, Idi Aziz. One guy called Otenga is in France right now, I think. So yeah, so I joined this Marwa band as a keyboardist, associate keyboardist, and Ted was playing the other keyboard. So we had two keyboards, and then Gidi Gidi Majimaji were performing Ismarwa band as two vocalists. And of course, it was a wonderful experience. Yeah,
all right.
I honed most of my understanding of the stage from that whole experience. So thanks again to Ted.
Okay, now let's get geeky a little bit. Let's go into the nitty gritty, right? What are your like with so by this time you're familiar with your tools of trade, right? Like what keyboard to use, what software to use, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
What was your go-to kind of software and tools? Like what was your go-to tools when you was working, let's say with Jawabu? What was it and why?
Well, my tools of crafts were basically there was a sampler, what you call the MPC, most
right?
many hip hop producers, MPC 2000 called it.
MPC 2000.
And yes, and of course the COG keyboards, a variety of COG keyboard. You have to remember that those days it was a go between digital and analog.
Yeah, because you had to sample, you had to bring in like live instrumentation also, right?
Yes, and also like the interface of the instrument. It's not like today where it's fully software.
It wasn't.
The software was just the software was called eMagic Logic Platinum.
That's the fast Logic, isn't it?
Before that, it used to be called the Notator or the Creator.
Okay.
But then I perfected I perfected my by putting it all together within the environment of Logic, Logic Audio Platinum, which is nowadays not there anymore. So that's where I honed the craft of mixing and improved a lot in using plugins and all that.
Okay.